Hello everybody, my name is Alan. Welcome to Downtime Weekly. We're going to be covering a little bit of news from the more positive sides of the internet with the new Twitch record holder, which happened last week and I missed because, to be honest, pretty slow. And then we're going to be covering some EA problems, which is like, the usual EA kind of stuff. They launch stuff and then it don't work. And then we just have some, heartfelt good news. So follow along. Welcome to Downtime Weekly. So we're going straight into it with the same article that we had posted in our last video where Get Right talks about esports. We also noticed another thing that we wanted to share this time around, which was No-Tail's 17-bedroom villa in Lisbon, Portugal, that he bought with some of the money from his prize pool. But yeah, not only was the entire report about his villa, it was also covering some of the information about how he prepares for gaming and esports and everything else and how it actually works out. And again, we'd like to commend the BBC for this kind of esports coverage that didn't just go like, oh my god, people pay to play video games? Oh, what's this? Oh my lord. So thank you very much, BBC, for actually making a report that we as esports people wanted to see. The title on the New York Times' newest digital piece, which we saw and thought, oh no, was the following. Children's screen time has soared in pandemic, alarming parents and researchers. There will be a period of epic withdrawal. So basically, the New York Times has posted out an article that researchers and a few other people inside of it have actually looked at how a lot of kids have spent more time online now that there's a pandemic, which is kind of not a surprise, considering that all schooling is from home and everything else. It does sound kind of dire, but I mean, it's not the worst thing to see in the world. But mostly it's kind of going hey, if your kids are on the screen too much, maybe you should get involved and figure out the digital consequences of what it is you're doing online. And also some of the parents were like, oh, well, everyone was getting a Switch, so we got one too. But yeah, if you're gonna get a digital toy that's gonna distract your kid or be entertainment based for them, hours on end that has no limitations, it's kind of up to your family dynamic to decide, hey, now's a healthy time to do that, or we go for a walk together or something else. I mean, people being surprised that if you give kids computer games or video games or games in general is not a surprise. Some places in the article that actually stated the following. The day after New Year's, John Reichard of Boulder, Colorado had a heated argument with his 14-year-old son, James. I failed you as a father, he told the boy despairingly. During the long months of lockdowns and shuttered schools, Mr. Reichard, like many parents, overlooked the vastly increased time that his son was spending on video games and social media. Now James, who used his free time on mountain biking and playing basketball, devotes nearly all of his leisure hours, about 40 a week, to Xbox and his phone. During the argument, he pleaded with his father not to restrict access, calling his phone his whole life. The dad said that was a tipping point. His whole life? Said Mr. Reichard, a technical administrator at a local sheriff's office. I'm not losing my son to this. I think one of the things that's happened is you give kids digital goodies, gifts, games, you open a window to a whole new world for them. You don't get involved personally understanding what that world is, and then you just want to take it away because you don't understand how it works. It's kind of a little bit of it just seems a bit friggin' insane that people can be like, it's my whole life. And yeah, it is. It was for me as well. It was for a lot of people. But we turned out pretty good, depending on who you ask, I guess. But yeah, we did kind of enjoy the video gaming dynamic and everything, and it's our whole world. But I mean, for new parents getting into this, giving Switches to their kids for the first time, or iPhones or iPads, you better watch out. Don't just, not know what it is. Give it to your kids. You wouldn't give them a landmine, dude. Would you? You can look at the entire article from the New York Times. Don't worry about it. Check it out. It's actually not that bad. It just sounds very doomy and gloomy, but it ain't. Alright, so something coming out of Hollywood and also voice actress Anna Rust is how she's speaking in an article that she sat down with Gamerant about and looking into the involvement of actors into video games and the interactiveness of that. It's actually a super cool article that they put out where she actually talks about some of the aspects of what we've been seeing in the past. She says, and I quote directly, "It really is. The more we get things like Last of Us 2 or even The Last of Us 1, we're going to see the gap between film and TV and video games narrow massively. If you play more recent games, even down to Spider-Man Miles Morales, it is basically an interactive film. I recently played Alien Isolation and it really gripped me. It was such a captivating experience. Obviously it is based on a series of films, so it's easy to draw the parallel to a motion picture, but I felt like I was playing a horror film. It became a cinematic in a terrifying way. So looking into Anna Rust's comment about video games in Hollywood, it does make sense to us as people that actually watch the media of video games, even way back when StarCraft 2 was just like a fledgling game. We used to see actors there all the time, or fall into the characters' development stories, and we just love that entire aspect of video games. Now, when you look at it now, everyone's looking at Norman Reedus and Death Stranding. There is now Giancarlo Esposito in the Far Cry 6 game coming out. And most recently, and probably the most breathtaking example ever, would be Keanu Reeves, who was in, Cyberpunk 2077, which had an amazing launch. And hopefully, like Anna Rust says, it's going to become a bigger trend in the future. So, this is thumbs up to more Hollywood in video games because, quite frankly, we need more Keanu Reeves in our lives. And for those of you that have been following the current Hitman 3 launch, which is coming here on January 20th, you might have seen there was a bit of a kerfluffle because Epic Games has been asking people to get Hitman 2 in order to unlock some of the aspect contents in Hitman 3. And that didn't sit well with people going like, what the hell, do you mean we have to rebuy the game on a different platform even though we have it on Steam already? And, IO Interactive caught on to this pretty quickly, and then they tweeted out the following: "We are continuing to work on a solution with our partners and allow PC gamers who own Hitman 1 or 2 to import locations from these games into Hitman 3 at no additional cost. We guarantee that players will not need to repurchase this game." They're making it very clear because they want people to stop messaging them about that specific thing. Yeah, so basically they found out that they did a goof by allowing Epic Games, which is what they're launching on, and then you need some content from the previous games to unlock content in their game, because it was a cool feature. Somebody brought it up in a meeting, went like, hey, wouldn't it be good if we actually added, if you had Hitman 2, you could get some extra stuff in Hitman 3? Yeah, that's a great idea. Will it matter that we have 2 different platforms we've launched on? Nah. It was, though, so now they're going to be putting out a fix to that at some point when they figure out how to do that. And then sticking with Epic Games, we're going to be talking about one of the best things that they've ever done in a worst way they've ever done it in. To get people using their marketplace and everything else in their stores, they give away games every once in a while, or every week they give out a free game that you can try and you can see if you want to keep it and buy it for later, So they did that with Battlefront II, the Star Wars game by EA, which then had all the servers procedurally melt down. It wasn't that bad, but people started tweeting at them. EA Games had their social media account get bombarded a bit, and basically no one could play the free game for a little bit, but they got that fixed. Apparently, it's a surprise to some developers that when they give out their game for free on a major store outlet online, that people will actually want to play that game. So there you go. Maybe next time you prepare for when you give away your game for free that people might be wanting to play it, We're going to be closing out the news with a Twitch record that we missed from last week. On January 11th at 11:11, Twitch actually posted out and congratulated TheGrefg. He was basically, the most viewed streamer ever alive, and he beat the previous record by a shitload. The previous record holders were Ninja and Dr. Disrespect, and they were scraping around at sub 1 million views. But GrefG actually made it in about 2.4 million live viewers watching concurrently on his stream. The Fortnite player is, Spanish, has good times. Everything is wonderful for him. And he just got a Fortnite skin recently. He's got really things going on for him, and it's nice to see that the Hispanic market is actually super huge. And when you think about it, it's not that big of a surprise. Latin America is one of the biggest markets after the English market, and also after the Chinese market. But not a lot of people in the Chinese market are on Twitch, because you get censored and stuff. But yeah, congratulations to GrefG for his insane record, and thank you to SverokTV for pointing it out to us. Samir, thank you for spamming that to me and saying did you not notice this? And no, I did not. So thank you so much for watching. And not only Downtime Weekly is going to get a few updates coming up in the future, but we also have a new short format coming out, and we hope that you will follow us for that. If anything, do go to our Discord channel. The link is below, and you can hang out with us. And this is where we actually talk about the news all the few days until we actually make these videos. So it will be a pleasure to see you guys there. And if anything, stay happy and do enjoy 2021 for what it is. It can only get better.